YouTube family? Welcome back, or welcome to Recruiting Board. And I really mean welcome back because this is my second episode today. I released one at 5. I'm doing one at 8 because no one grinds like me on this platform, definitely around New England. So if you love football content and you're from New England and you're not subscribed to me, bruh, this channel right here will change your life. Like, share, and of course, subscribe to the best family here on YouTube. So my 5 o'clock episode, I only talked about knapsack bowl games. I thought it would be good to separate the two today. So this episode, we are only going to be talking about MIAA playoff predictions. We'll react to last week's games as well. Hit that post notifications button, aka the bell, so you know every single time I post. Alright, y'all. Let's jump into the RB show. Episode, honestly, I don't even know. We've had so many because the grind don't stop. We start off in the heavyweight matchups that is Division 1. St. John's Prep versus Andover. Congratulations to Andover, by the way. They lost their quarterback against Methuen, and they have rallied since then, not lost a game, and have been playing incredibly good football. While Prep last week had a little bit of a stumble in the first half against BC High, where nothing was going for them, ended up putting away business, 30 straight points, I believe it was for them, to advance and play Andover. Everyone knows these two had a dance last year where St. John's Prep absolutely annihilated them at Andover's house. This is a different team though. I will say this, I think defensively this year, some of Andover's players that I've seen play, like Brian Knott, Connor LeBrun, Carter Abel, and Brian McSweeney have all been playing great football and are definitely all college football caliber of players. I don't know what level, but they can all ball in college. Dom Papa can do some things. He's a dual threat type of quarterback, and again, he was asked to do a lot. Their quarterback before him was playing great football, and then that guy before him was Scotty, friend of the channel, by the way. If there are any speed matchups that Andover has in this game, they are going to have to execute on those because at the line of scrimmage, I'm sorry, they don't have that advantage. And that is the advantage that Prep wants, especially in November when it's cold. You have to be able to run the football. I'll say this now, though. Dante Berger, now he's a dog back there. If you can get him cooking, that's going to be one thing. Not a lot of people have had success running the ball against Prep this year. Not even CM did. I think they only had 50 yards in that entire game. That RPO game better be cooking if you're Andover. However, speed and getting your playmakers the ball means absolutely nothing if your quarterback has zero time to do so. Because Marquise Avery, Mason McSweeney, John Draghettis, all of them are going to be flying at the quarterback all night. Not to mention the big boys on the line. So if he doesn't have time, it's going to be a long night. Or maybe a quick night because Prep will just pound the ball down their throat. Last week, though, Prep did look vulnerable against the pass. They do have some younger DBs out there. So if Andover can get some guys in space and take advantage of the youth, if Prep is having a hard time tackling at the second level, they can definitely put some points up on Prep. BC High put up 22 and 1/2 last week. That's more than CM put up on them in the entire game. Prep, like Xaverian, just needs to play 4 quarters of football and limit their mistakes. This can definitely be a cleanup game from last week for them, but they've been here before. They know what it takes. They need to just play their game and not play Andover's game, and that will be their key to success. Everyone knows they're going to run the ball, and they're going to do it so well. So does Andover have the scheme to stop that? We will see. I give this one to Prep, though, 31-14. Honestly, across the entire state, Needum versus Xaverian, which is where I plan on being at Friday night. Both teams are definitely very similar, and both teams, this is as far as they've gotten in a long time. As we know, This is the first time that Needum has made the Final Four since 2011, my junior year of high school. Some of those guys on staff were on the team at that point. That was a huge moment for them, and it was so special for me to go watch that live and what it meant to their community. The Needum fans, very, very strong against Methuen, and to see them storm the field with the players, it was great. I got to see it back-to-back games, though, because then Xaverian Springfield Central, that was a great one, too, and we saw Xaverian finally beat their boogeyman, a very young and talented Springfield Central team, in a 1-point game that already is a banger on my channel, by the way. Just to preview Needum, I was very, very impressed with their defensive line against Methuen. They most certainly didn't look like that when I saw them play Weymouth, creating a lot of disruption in the backfield. Limiting the big plays for Methuen is really hard when you have someone like Shane Eason back there, but Needum was able to do that the entire night. They won at the line of scrimmage, and they even won on special teams with Joe Kajunski's block punt. I have to shout out Ben Schreiber, their do-it-all playmaker. He was the engine in that Ferrari that night. And I'm telling you right now for Xaverian, he is going to be a problem. He had 3 sacks against Methuen and had multiple tackles for loss. He can catch the ball. He's athletic, so you have to account for him. Big body, so he can lay blocks to your defenders. You have to take into account Ben Schreiber. I'm telling you, the class of 2025 athlete for Needum is legit. If you want to beat Xaverian, you have to disrupt Hasselbeck, because he can do it with his legs. And I think Xaverian doesn't necessarily want him running around that much. So if you're causing chaos in their backfield, that would be a huge win for them and for them to beat Xaverian. Hasselbeck can't get comfortable at all. He will pick you apart, and it's going to be a long night for them. Needum hasn't played a team like Xaverian this entire season. Both have tremendous running backs in Denzel Pierre and Tate Hoffmeister that have both gone over 1,000 yards on the season. Definitely the best quarterback Needum has faced all year. After they just played their best one last week in Drew Eason, you get to play Henry Hasselbeck. So that's definitely not going to be easy for them. However, I'm going to say this right now. Needum was able to move the ball through the air when they had to. You got to be careful with teams like that who are primarily running teams, but all of a sudden they can pop off a pass and Schreiber's wide open down the field. Schreiber or their other big tight end is open. Needum completely eliminated Methuen's run game last week. And again, just to shout out Needum, where they are located, where so many different privates are. You got CM, you got St. Seb's, Thayer's not too far away, Milton Academy, BB&N, and the list goes on. Imagine if all those kids that left the school never left. They probably would be the favorites to win in D1 every year. Again, I saw what it meant to their community. That to me is second to none in terms of the support that they got that day. Now, on to Xaverian. This is not the traditional Xaverian team that I've come to see. It's mainly power run, and they have a couple of skill guys to fill in. No, these are great skill position guys that can run with almost anyone. Minus that big play from Matthias Barber, Xaverian did a great job of limiting Springfield Central's big plays. Honestly, if I'm Xaverian, I think the key to this game, let Henry cook. Let him do his thing. I don't know if Needum has the speed matchups on the outside. We do know it's going to be a battle at that line of scrimmage. However, if I'm Xaverian, I'm going to try to spread Needum out and then mix in the runs when they're not looking, when they're not prepared for it, and let Denzel or Henry rip those large yards off. The receivers for Xaverian, I am challenging you though, because there were plenty of times Henry found you open, but there were some drops last week. Those have to be caught this week, because Needum's the team. If you do have mistakes and they capitalize on your mistakes, all of a sudden it's the third quarter and you could be down by 2 scores. They will have to get enough penetration on Hoffmeister right away to knock Needum out of their rhythm and not get them in their game. If Hoffmeister or Williams gets hot, it's going to be tough. You got to somehow make Needum throw the ball and make him throw early. Xaverian just needs to come together, play 4 quarters of football, and everyone stick to their assignments. My prediction, I think it's going to be a close one, but I think Xaverian stamps their ticket into the Super Bowl 30-21 to set up for the first time in either God knows how long, if ever, a Super Bowl between Xaverian versus St. John's Prep. I don't care who you are, if you're willing to admit it, or what you say. Everyone can either be pissed off that it's happening, going to be interested that it's happening, or going to love that it's happening. Because now, Thanksgiving is going to be for the Catholic Conference, and then a week later, they would meet in Gillette. Again, hypothetically, if my predictions are true. I can already see the Boston Globe and the Herald licking their chops and being so excited. I mean, that's a content fest if you're media. Let's just be honest. Hasselbeck, his last game against his rival. Back-to-back weeks rivals play each other. Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl. Not even Hollywood could script that, boys. Do you know any unique Super Bowl matchups? Let me know in the comments below. D2 or horns down. Bro, I have to shout out Marshfield. Marshfield is a tremendous team. I actually saw something today, and it is factual, that since September, Marshfield hasn't scored fewer than 40 points in a game, and they have been rolling everyone. Their only losses they have this season were to Methuen and Prep, and they lost their best offensive weapon to St. Thomas More. That is on me for completely disregarding them this entire season. They're just so far away from me, so I've never seen them play. But I do not think that they're just going to come in and get killed by CM. My boy Robbie Brogy actually did some damage against CM last week. Obviously, they handled business against Wellesley, but if Marshfield's able to get some of their playmakers in space, CM does have some injuries now. Hey, you never know. An upset could be at hand right here. I don't personally think it is. I think that CM just has way too much firepower. While they do have a lot of injuries at some key positions, everyone knows at CM it is next man up. I got CM going on to their 5th straight Super Bowl and their 3rd straight in D2, which is very impressive. Some may say, well, they're in D2. That's another conversation for another time. It's to not take away, though, from the run of dominance Catholic Memorial has had. Barnstable versus King Philip. That one looks like it's going to be tonight. We'll see how my prediction comes true. Shout out to Barnstable, though. They won a classic up at Peabody last week. Game where they had to overcome their bus ride and get some late game heroics from Eric Lavelle, who had the game-winning touchdown and the game-sealing interception. I can't say I'm surprised that Barnstable's in this position because again, you watch them in the 7s, all those guys like last summer were very young. They're going up against, hands down, the best competition that they've faced all season in King Philip, who has pretty much dominated everyone that they've played this year, minus Milford. But it was pretty much from start to finish KP's game. Bro, and so far in the playoffs, they have only allowed 3 points and have outscored their opponents by 72. Domination down in Rentham. This is what they do, though. Year in and year out, KP is a dominant program, and everyone forgets about them, including myself. I'm the dumbass that didn't even put them in my top 10 preseason poll. I had Central Catholic in over them. I had Milton Academy in over them. I had Methuen in over them. How dumb do I look? Seriously. Barnstable is going to have to literally send the house to contain the run. It is going to be a battle in their trenches that the linemen have never seen before. Also, can Barnstable get a big play on KP? We will have to see. They certainly have the playmakers to do so. But I pick KP to win this 36-7, setting up for 3 straight years. KP versus CM in the Super Bowl. Everyone wants to know, do I think KP has the chance to beat CM this year? I think they have way more of a chance to beat them this year than any of the other 2 years previously. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. The Three Amigos. That's a complete fail, Alex. There are 4 teams in the D3 playoffs left. That's why it's called the Final Four. That's my intro for D3, though. Bro, I am so disappointed in what happened with Billerica. They lost to Westfield because Kayvon Eddington went straight to work, because of course he does. That's what he's been doing the entire season. Not a lot of people know about Kayvon Eddington. I saw him play against Marblehead his sophomore year, and I knew he was going to be good. His senior year, they're back in the Final Four, and it would not surprise me if they did beat Milton. Very disappointing, though, for Bill Ricca. It kind of felt like they really ended on a bad note with getting blown out to Andover. And they were on the wire last week against Plymouth, and it caught up against Westfield. Still a good season for Bill Ricca. They got to the Elite Eight, but definitely an underachieving one, to say the least. I was so high on them at one point. Still think the world of that program and those kids over there. Gentili's going to be balling on Saturdays for somebody, that's for sure. You got to prepare for every team in the MIAA playoffs, and Westfield took advantage of that. This game for Westfield is going to be huge, but hold on now. Milton most certainly is not the hardest team they've faced all year. They made it a game against Springfield Central in the first half. So that offense for Westfield, they've seen what a fast defense is supposed to look like. I do give them that advantage in some regards. Milton, I gotta shout them out. They proved me wrong. They handled business against Dartmouth, and I had Dartmouth upsetting them, if you want to call it that. They were undefeated entering that game. Milton is playing a lot better after suffering a setback at the end of the regular season. And when I mean setback, I mean 3 bad losses now. And Milton is the same team that did beat Needum, who's in the Final Four for D1 now. While I did give Milton a little bit of crap a couple weeks ago, they are 1 game away from returning to Gillette. They most certainly aren't in the same position as they were last year entering the Super Bowl, but in some ways I think this team is actually better than last year's team. I do think Milton wins that game to go on to the Super Bowl in back-to-back Division III championships. I'm going to pick them to win this one, though, in a close one, 20-17. Now on the other side of the bracket, the game of the week that I think it's the best matchup across the entire state. Walpole versus Milford. Walpole, a team that no one, and I mean no one, thought was going to be on the tear that they are on. Noah McKenzie with 380 yards and 4 tutties last week against a good Mansfield team, by the way. Little bit closer than I thought it was going to be, though. But I'm just going to say this. That's a team right there. They're playing Milford. Now, boy, this is a battle-tested team. Milford has run a little bit of a gauntlet themselves. They played KP, which is way better than any team Walpole's played. Wait, no. They played KP in the opening week. So negate everything I just said. Milford did play KP better than Walpole, but that was the opening game of the season for them. This one's a toss-up, man. Milford definitely has the edge running the football. Well, I'll give the passing edge to Walpole. These past couple weeks, Milford's been playing some tough football defensively. Kind of had a little bit of a close one, though, against North Attleboro. I think that was a little bit too close for what they would have wanted. And by the way, I'm going to buy the footage off of the homie Jackson from this game, so I should have this game on my channel. This one's so tough, but honestly, I'm picking Walpole. I think that they are so legit. And while Milford is tough up front, and I mean tough up front, I think that these skill guys Walpole's got are going to be too much for Milford to handle on the outside. Nobody's been able to contain Jamal all year. There's my predictions for D3. It's going to be a Walpole-Milton Super Bowl. A rematch from the regular season. That'll be a slobber knocker. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. God, we start off initially right when I look at this. I'm not happy Grafton beat Marblehead. Ugh! Magicians, we couldn't do it. There was no more magic left in Marblehead season, unfortunately. Situate did beat Holliston, though, which may have come a little bit of a shocker to some of y'all, setting up a Situate-Grafton game in the Final Four. Ooh, this one's tough. I'm going to give it to Situate, though. Something's been working over there. They finally got their ground game going. So I'm going to put Situate to win their Final Four game against Grafton. But shout out to Grafton, because Grafton had a lot of people graduate, and they had Tyson Thomas transfer, and they still made it back to the Final Four. They got a good culture down there. They've been good for a long time over there. I just think today that they're going to run into a Situate team that has a lot of momentum, and that train's going to keep rolling right to Gillette. Duxbury, Tewksbury. I guessed this. I knew this game was going to be at Xaverian, and it is. Because, like I said last week, if you watched, that episode kind of flopped because I didn't promote it. But I said that if this game happens, it's going to be at Xaverian. Because in 2019, before I was him on this channel, these two teams played in the Final Four at Xaverian. Actually, this is a 2018 and 2019 Final Four rematch, actually. But I'm going to give it to Duxbury. Other than their one loss to Hanover, Duxbury's pretty much has been killing everyone. They've only let up 6 points this entire postseason and have scored 64. That is outrageous. Coach Landolfi said that their game against Somerset was the best defensive performance he's seen, or one of the best defensive performances he's seen. I think we're going to get a Duxbury-Scituate rematch. Little South Shore action in D4. That was a very dramatic Super Bowl in 2021 when Scituate won it, by the way. 5-time. We're not going to do that 5 times. Right away, I am initially drawn to the disaster that went on in Dedham. First off, obviously I apologize to Danvers for doubting y'all because I thought that Dedham was going to boat race y'all, just being honest. I did not think you were going to blank Dedham, though, at their house. Completely shut them down. Gianni Gasparo, no touchdowns. AJ Panette, no touchdowns. I can't believe that. I don't know what went down. But credit to Danvers, because I don't know when the last time they went to a Final Four was, but this is awesome for them as a program. Because they've kind of been in these other schools' shadows in the NEC. You know, the Marbleheads, the Peabodys. But Danvers is making a name for themselves now. Travis Vusain and his boys are going out to Weston High School, where they are going to duke it out with the best team in all of Division 5 and one of the best teams in the state, in my opinion, Hanover High School, who has pretty much been dominating everyone this entire year, and honestly is destined to win all of Division 5. However, can Danvers get in their way? Can they be the ones to stop Scalzi this week from not throwing for over 300 yards in God knows how long? Or are they going to be another team on the Hanover list? Honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. I have Hanover winning, them going on to advance to the Super Bowl. Shawsheen versus Foxboro. This is a heavyweight matchup. I love the fact we might see a tech school in the Super Bowl. This is so cool to me. Foxboro is playing right now on a completely different planet. They haven't allowed a single point in the entire playoffs. But that's not going to happen because my guy, Sid Tildsey, is going to come in there and they are going to upset Foxboro. I am picking Shawsheen to beat Foxboro at Assabet Valley Regional Vocational Technical School, by the way, to play Hanover in the Super Bowl. I'm picking it. Although it would be really badass to see a Hanover-Foxboro Super Bowl in Foxboro. At least one team would be playing for the Super Bowl this year in that town. But it's not, because Shawsheen's winning it. My 6th reaction, and it's to D6. Come on, clever. Come on, did you at least laugh one time? You have no idea how late it is. By the way, please drop a thumbs up. Bro, Fairhaven upset Norwell with wins over Winthrop and Norwell, bro. Entering the Final Four, playing Hudson, who just beat Linfield. Bro, that's tough. That's tough right there. Hudson's been playing some really good football, y'all. However, I'm gonna have to give it to Fairhaven. I'm picking them. Their running back has been balling out of his mind recently. I picked the 8th seed to beat the 4th seed here. And Fairhaven's going on to Gillette. Stoneham with another upset. Bro, I love this. For those of you who don't know, Stoneham was 15. They went on the road and beat Abington, who was the 2nd seed week 1. And then they went on the road and beat Bellingham. And now they get to play Salem in the Final Four. A team who I was so bullish on in the preseason, during the season. While they might have had 2 losses, one to Peabody and Winthrop, I still knew that they were going to be one of my favorites to win it all. Absolutely killed Cardinal Spellman, 55-0. They had a DB intercept 4 passes, by the way. Shout out to Albert Pujols. Yep, that's actually his name. And now we got Salem, Stoneham, in Lynn. In the Manning Bowl. Not named after Eli Manning, by the way, or Peyton. I think it was Arch they named that after, actually. Man, this is tough. Do I go with the team who I've been on the train the entire year, Salem? Or do I go with the team who's been hot with 2 upsets these past couple of weeks? Who do I go with, RB Army? Da-na-na-na. Yeah, that didn't help. I still don't know. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm picking you, Stoneham. Stoneham, the 15 seed, is going to upset Salem, the 3 seed. Why not? Why not? They've already beat the 2 seed. They already beat a 10 seed. Why not beat a 3 seed and go to Gillette if you're Stoneham? I bet that's the message at practice. Why not us? We've already beaten these guys. We can do it. We're not scared. I'm calling you out, Bakhtiari. They're going to need another big game out of you. Those of you who don't know, they had a linebacker get 10 tackles, a sack, and an interception last week. You're going to need to ball out against Salem again, because I can't eat crow. All right, guys, thank you so much. That's my Final Four reactions. 2 episodes in one day. Again, who doesn't like me, not only in all of New England, but on all of YouTube. So, if you really love me, which I know you do, take this time, like, share, and of course, subscribe to the best family here on YouTube. I'm Alex Agrella with Recruiting Board, and I am signing off.